All right, so this is our second day of multiplying polynomials. Yesterday, you worked with distributing a term to the other terms that were inside of the parentheses. Today, we're going to look at something that, if you really think back to the beginning of the year, you remember doing this on a similar scale. We did a binomial multiplied by a binomial, and that's what we're going to look at today. And we're just look at how that's related to distributing. And there'll be a worksheet, that same worksheet you had yesterday, except you're going to do question number 2 only. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at what I mean when I say we're going to multiply a binomial times a binomial. Binomial times a binomial looks a little something like this. This is an example here, and let me highlight it, of a binomial. It's got 2 terms to it. This is a binomial as well. Again, it has 2 terms to it. But we're still going to be doing the distributive property. The idea would be that we take this and distribute it to that binomial over there. Now you're kind of wondering, well, how do you distribute something that has 2 terms to it? Well, let me walk you through and let me show you how it's going to look and exactly how we do this. At some points, I'll stop and take some notes. Please copy these down yourself or jot down some things you might want to ask me a question about. Okay, well, if you notice, what they've done here is they've taken the entire x plus 5 and distributed it to just the x. Okay, that's what you see here. Then they do it again. They take the x plus 5, but this time they distribute it to the negative 3. So you see 2 distributings happening there. Okay, I changed the color just so that you can see that they're 2 different ones. And now, at this point, we'll just be doing what we did yesterday. We're going to distribute this x to the x plus 5. We'll distribute this negative 3 to the x plus 5 as well. Okay, so x times x, that's what you're seeing here. Again, this is just showing a lot of the work. I'm going to show this problem again without all of this work to it, but just showing you the math behind it. There's x times x, that's what this is. X times 5, that's what this is. Then negative 3 times x, that's what this is. And then negative 3 times 5. So this is someone really showing all of the work that's involved. Again, in just a minute, I'll show us a little bit of an easier way for us to do this. Now, once they've multiplied everything, x times x is x squared. Oops, let me go back. 5 times x is 5x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And then we'll combine like terms, and the positive 5x and the negative 3x do combine here to give me that 2x. And here's my final answer when all is said and done. Now, that's somebody showing a lot of the work. I'm going to redo this same exact problem, but I'm going to show it to you in a little bit of a simpler way. We're not going to probably show every single one of these steps that this person did. Some of this distributing we're just going to do in our head. Okay? So let me erase what's on this screen. And now I'm going to redo this in a little bit of a simpler way. So let me go back, remove the things that are on here. Sorry. Okay, now let's do this in a little bit of a different way. This time, I'm just going to take the x and distribute it to both of the things over here. So x times x minus 3. Then I'm going to take the 5 and distribute it to the x minus 3 as well. Okay, notice I made it a positive 5 because that was an x plus 5. If that was an x minus 5, I would have made that a minus 5. Now, time to go ahead and distribute here. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. These will combine together, and we'll end up with x squared plus 2x minus 15. I like that way better. It's a lot easier, and a lot quicker to do. Okay. Pause video if you need to, take some notes. Moving on to the next page. Okay, these ones are just asking you to practice multiplying. I'll give you a second to go ahead and practice each one of these. Check out this last one. That last one's a little bit tricky. I'll unpause the video in a minute and we'll go through that one together. But first, I'm going to do these three. Okay, well, there's all the answers that I got for the first three. Feel free to pause the video and check your work, because I'm now going to move on to this last one. This last one is interesting because it says x plus 6 squared, which is, what does that mean? That means x plus 6 times x plus 6. You actually have to write that thing out, and then you can go ahead and multiply it. The answer to this is not x squared plus 36. That's a common misconception on this one. That is not the answer to this. We actually have to go ahead and multiply it out and go ahead and distribute this twice. So x times x plus 6. That's me distributing here. Now I got to distribute the 6 to the x plus 6, and I think I'm probably going to run out of room here. But you can go ahead and finish this thing up, and you're going to end up with x squared plus 12x plus 36 when all is said and done. Okay, now that's it for today. That's multiplying binomials together. Make sure you distribute each term of the first binomial to the entire second binomial. Means you're going to have to distribute twice. Okay, good luck on your homework.